Donuts loom is a quote as one more horrid substance we shovel into our collective mouths. Symbols of Americans' ever-increasing laziness and obesity, Mullins says. But for many of us, donuts are a very special treat that has a very special status, and we're not going to give it up.
Yeah, but you have to put that dig in there.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. Yeah. Or it's going to be one of the last treats we do give up.
Yeah.
Now, donuts aren't lazy. That's not lazy.
No, you got to go to the shop and get them.
That's exactly right. And if you walk, you're exercising.
Yes.
And if you walk from your car to the shop and then back to your car.
And then you're probably going to work.
That's exactly right. And then you're doing...
Or to the gym.
You're doing your hard-earned for the country.
It's in 10.
In 3. 2.
Gdayall.
All right, we started already. It's your turn, Barbara.
Right. Gdayall, and welcome to episode 36, Donuts and Doughnuts.
Donuts.
Well, we're doing this because Friday, the first Friday in June, did you ever have to go to First Friday Mass? We used to have First Friday Mass at school.
No.
We did.
We weren't that Catholic. Man, I don't know. Maybe the Franciscan nuns. Man, I think first Friday of the month was beat the crap out of little kids day or something.
We did that after Mass.
after
Mass. Oh. So the first Friday in June after church, you can go. It's National Donut Day, and Tuesday is National Jelly Donut Day. It had to have its own day. It's so special.
Of course. But you just think about it, going back to like church and everything. Imagine if they made the host out of donut dough instead of like that.
You need to line it up.
Yes.
I'm going to go Friday night or Saturday night, Sunday morning, Sunday mid-morning.
Well, we know how to get the population back to the Catholic Church again.
That is true. Now, what is your favorite donut?
My favorite donut actually comes from California, or the first time I had it out there was or Dunkin'. So Dunkin' Donuts used to make these jelly sticks, and that's Jeanette's favorite too, which is a cake donut with jelly in the middle.
Nice.
And then they don't make those no more. But when we moved to California, they do make lots of cake donuts.
Yeah, we do have a lot of cake donuts.
Yes, and they're good.
They are very good. I like,
as opposed to the rise dough donuts.
Yes, the yeast ones.
Yes,
but I like a cruller. It depends. I like sugar donuts, but not the powdered sugar ones. I like when they're just covered in white sugar.
So you don't want the powder all over you?
No, I like the sugar donuts. Yeah. I like a fritter, like an apple fritter. I miss that here.
Yeah,
I missed it, but I found a place that makes them. And but yeah, it depends on my mood. But I think sugar donut would serve me well. Now, the most popular by state, I found the best stats.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
It is the most popular donuts in the U.S. Each state.
Okay. And
so the most popular is.
Can you? Is this a $200 question?
No. The next one is the.
Oh, the next one is the most popular is glazed donut.
Correct. Yeah. Now, the second most popular. This is your $200 question, and I think this is bogus because this is only recent times. Can you guess?
A pumpkin spice donut.
No.
That's only in October. Okay.
That's right. I know. Give it one more.
Chocolate.
Cronuts.
Cronuts.
The croissant donuts.
Is that a donut?
No, it's bogus.
It's a bogus?
Yeah, I don't believe in that.
It's not even a flavor.
And what do you think the favorite of California is and the favorite of New York is?
Well, California has to be the Bear Claw.
Very good.
Yeah, I lived there, Hey, I lived in London Beach, dude. Surf City, USA.
You lived in the fancy part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just where the farmers and the...
Yeah, we're down there.
Chickers.
And near New York.
Yes.
God, what would be the New York one? Cinnamon.
Cronuts.
Cronuts. What's going on with that state?
It's your left and it's all gone to hell.
Yeah.
Now, do you want to get into this? It's a bit of housekeeping we've got.
Oh, no. Oh, what do we got to clean up? Oh, you.
So much.
Did we spill anything?
No. Well, first of all, it's a new month. It's a new month.
It's a new month. It's a new day. All right. So the new month, that means we have a new code word.
That's exactly right. Do you remember what it is?
It's the month of June.
And it's time to...
The moon. And then you swoon.
Swoon under the moon with a silver spoon in June. Swoon, is it?
Okay.
Is the special one.
And that's good for the whole month.
Yes.
And then as we start adding in what the specials are, that's good for the whole month also.
That is great. And we're going to add more things in.
Yeah.
Might switch it up a little bit. And also, where you put the code, so you're clicking through, you click cart, so when you think you're all done with your goodies, and on that page, there's a box on the right-hand side that says enter promotional code or gift certificate code. And you pop it in there, and then that will apply your code. Right,
and you'll see what you got. And that's just how all the other websites I go to, that's basically how it all works. So it's whoever written that code, it's for everybody.
That's right. It's pretty simple. I did answer the question a few times last week. Also, on the website, you just need to click the listener discount logo too, because you'll see everything that's coming
And don't forget, this is only online or click and collect. So
that's right.
Don't come in the store and complain to everybody that, why can't I use the code because that's the way it works. It's just the way the system works. So
they can still come into the store, but do your click and collect first.
Yes, with the codes.
With your code, get your discount. Yeah. And then if you come into the shop and you have one of our USA food bags, or you get one,
5%
you get 5% off what you buy in the shop.
The bag with a benefits.
That's exactly right. So, and also we've got a couple of diary notes. We are going to be doing on Saturday, the 26th of June. We are back.
We'll be live and in person at USA Foods
with an in-store podcast.
Yes, and this is going to be a big party time because this is 4th of July.
That's right. So it's big for all of us from the US of A.
So we're going to have giveaways?
Yes, we are. And it might look a bit fancy, and you can't hide from us because we'll find you.
We're going to be out there sorting you out.
And we'll have some samples. I think we can do some munching. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we gotta have a party time.
That's exactly right. So, and with
alcohol?
the pocket, no.
Oh,
stop. Well, I don't care what people do in the car park on their own time, but no.
And we're also going to try to get some food trucks there.
That would be awesome. So, actually, if you guys know anyone, let us know that you really like.
Well, we're going to try to get the Philadelphia steak guy.
Yeah.
Sparrows.
Sparrows is one. They're good friends of ours. And finally, when you guys listen to us, if you're enjoying us, please subscribe. Please share with your friends. And if you want to drop us a line, do it at.
All right. Enough housekeeping. Yeah.
Podcast at usafoods.com.
Okay. Let's get on with the show.
Yep. Okay.
Sound like Bugs Bunny now. Let's get on with the show.
Well, okay, some of the content today, of course, a little bit of background of Doughnuts. Started out with a gross name, but we'll talk about that later. And LA, it's funny you say California, LA has become the donut epicenter.
It's amazing, right? So when I lived in California, like I came from New York and Jersey area, and then I moved to California, very little donuts in New York. I mean,
so sad.
Yeah, but go to California, everybody's like, oh, look at my body. I'm fit. I'm trim. Look, I'm beautiful. I know that, and they're all eating donuts on the way to work, because you stop at the donut place, get a big coffee.
That's right.
Donuts. And then you travel an hour and a half. That usually takes you 10 minutes without any traffic, but it's California.
That's right.
So, and you eat your donuts. And that's where I became my favorite donuts out of California. And, I did the same thing. So if I had a morning appointment, stopped at the coffee shop. Get my favorite donut, and off I went.
And we used to, occasionally you go, I'm a bit early, and you buy a couple dozen donuts for work, and it didn't cost a fortune.
Yeah.
It was very affordable and a nice thing to do. I love seeing the pink box on the counter going, ooh, someone went.
Yeah. But that was like a misgiving. So here we had probably the most physical being state that everybody had to look good, right?
Yeah.
Eating probably the worst breakfasts of all for most of the people.
You got to have a vice of some sort. They had no other fun.
They had a lot of vices.
Okay, now, then we'll go into the types of donuts, because there's different types of donuts. Yeah. And a very important survey. Best donuts according to cops.
Oh.
Because, they know.
They get the bad rap for the donut guys.
They do. And one of our favorite segments, it happens again this week.
Who got ripped off?
That's right. A bit of food history always, involves a little bit of larceny or taking advantage. A little bit of pop culture and how a donut shop is different in the USA.
Different how?
Well, we'll be
you're not going to tell me that now. All right, don't tell me.
Well,
All
okay, so donut shop.
All right.
You talked early, 24 hours, a lot of
Yeah.
them. So
Mhm.
that's why cops like them, which we'll
Yeah.
get there. They're also your basic coffee you can get. You can get a giant one. It's, a small family-owned business usually.
Right, and it's inexpensive. And over here, I get it.
And
yeah,
you
so
know
over
each
here,
other.
you go to a donut place, it costs you a fortune.
That's right. And
Yeah.
like you see the same guy every day, and he'll have your bear claw ready for you or your whatever. And it's a real sort of corner. It's not, here it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna cost you a lot of money, and they have crap like pineapple donuts.
Ugh. All right. So let's go on to the fun facts.
That's right. Oh, did you want me to do the first one?
Yeah, you can do the first one.
Archaeologists turned up fossilized bits of what look like donuts in the middens of prehistoric Native American settlements. Do you know what a middens is?
I know what mittens are.
No, with a D. We looked it up and went, ew, it's a dung heap.
Oh.
But it looks like
that's crappy.
That is. So they were enjoying donuts back then, so much so they're fossilized.
The fossilized? Preserved.
That's right. I've had a few of those here.
It's sort of like the coffee beans we talked about the other week.
That's right.
Coming out of the monkeys, yeah. Or the cats. No, they were cats, yeah.
Yes.
All right, so fun fact number 2. Donuts arrived in New Amsterdam, so that's New York.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Under the unappreciated or
unappetizing.
I don't have my glasses on today, so excuse me.
That's all right.
All right, I know it had on. I could read the on and the A, and I just assumed that it's unappetizing.
We'll be
The
unappreciated.
Dutch term for oily cakes.
Yeah, oily cakes. Can I have some oily cakes, please? I mean, it's honest.
Well, a lot of things in New York are named after the Dutch. The Central Park was built by a Dutch guy and an architect, or I think not an architect, a surveyor.
Right.
He was. And I even went to a school named after a Dutch ship.
What was the school?
New Utrecht.
Oh, is that where that came from?
Yeah, New Utrecht High School. So how do you get a Brooklyn guy to say, New Utrecht? You went to Utrecht, huh? Yeah, Utrecht, Utes. You got, the Utes from Utrecht. Yeah, I got it.
Now, actually, this is another who got ripped off, actually an unintentional one, which we discovered.
Yes, this was...
this is Naughty Australians, right?
By
Before the internet.
Famed producer, Brendan, found this one.
Yes, he did. So when we were looking, donuts were a really, uplifting thing again in the Depression because they only cost a nickel. And there was
Probably 2 for a nickel.
That's right.
And a nickel ain't worth a dime anymore.
I knew you were going to say that. So in Washington, D.C.'s Capitol Theater, when you bought your donut, it had a little slip of paper with different sayings to make
like
you
a fortune
happy.
Cookie.
That's right. And it says, as you go through life, make this your goal. Watch the donut, not the hole. Right? So there's a place here called Danny Flake Donuts. And
still here?
It's gone.
Gone.
As well it should be after hearing this.
Yes.
And there is a journalist, Philip Adams, who's Australian. He's an ad man. And I remember him seeing him years ago. And he came up for Danny Flake Donuts with this, it was called the Optimist Creed, which is a direct ripoff of that. They used to have it up on their walls at the different Danny Flakes. And he has been accredited with that. If you Wikipedia, it's like he came up with it.
Yeah, he probably came up with Target.
And Kmart.
Indescribably delicious. He probably came in with that.
Yes, there we go.
And you're in good hands.
The whole state.
It would all say, with VACC.
No.
Where'd you get that? Probably the same guy.
Probably was. This is what happened before the internet. Someone got to go travel around the world, rip off all the good stuff.
Yeah, and come back and say, here's all my new ideas.
And now I think we'll just take a little breather and we'll be back with a bit more after the break.
And now it's time for a history lesson.
Always good if it's involving a donut.
Yes, sir. Ma'am.
That's right. And we have to go back. The World Fair in 1934 was a happening place. We've mentioned it a few times. A few things happened, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because that's the century of progress.
That's right, and that's the donut was the food hit there because it had the automated machine. Ooh. So people thought that was a bit fancy. Mm-hmm. And as we said before, a donut costs less than a nickel, or probably 2 for a nickel when you said that, which we're able to get most people during the Depression, a little bit of joy. Just, it's sweet. It fills you up. It's like the candy bar.
Yeah.
It's no wonder we have the problems we do now, though. You think that's our
Well,
comfort?
when I worked at the bagel bakery
Yep.
as a kid, and a bagel looks like a donut.
It
Only thing
does.
It's not
It's
as
a-
savory instead of sweet, but it got the same shape.
Yep.
You know how much bagels were at the time?
How much?
A dozen bagels cost
What?
96 cents.
Oh, gosh.
You can't even buy one.
No, it's
For
like,
96
no, that's right. Well, and a bagel has the same thing. I love this quote about a donut and how it fed you. And, it was base and beloved. So it was like the most basic food you can have. And same thing with bread. Stuff of life, the whole thing.
Fills you up.
And now, usually we talk about World War II, which we will in a second. But during World War I, homesick American doughboys.
So what's a doughboy?
Well, they.
Oh, you don't know.
Well, it has nothing to do with donuts, but they used to have. I'm forgetting if they're Army or Marine. It has to be Army. I'm thinking World War I.
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter because if I get it wrong, I don't want to say the wrong thing. But they had white belts. They used to polish like with flour, and that's how they got the nickname doughboys. But when they were fighting in the trenches of France, they were brought donuts by female volunteers who brought them to the front lines and gave them a tasty taste of home.
How nice.
That is. And then World War II, which is, I love this, the Red Cross women, later known as donut dollies, doled them out as well. Because really, you bring me a donut, I'm smiling. Like
Yes,
it's
everybody's
just
happy
that's
with a
exactly
donut.
right.
Yep. You're happy when you're eating it, not when you get on the scale.
You don't want to think about that.
No,
Like you said, you have a way to cure that. Just eat the middle.
And then we have the next after the history, the modern donut movement. Well, I didn't even know there was a movement on
It was. And you know what? This is a beautiful story. And this is what I like about America and people coming over and getting to have a shot. So it was people coming over from Vietnam and Cambodia. And a lot of the families escaped the Khmer Rouge. And they came and they baked. Yeah. And so, like in Vietnam, there's such a French influence as well.
They were good bakers.
They were
still are.
Excellent bakers, and they started donut shops all over. And so the majority of LA donut shops are still owned by Cambodian families.
It's amazing because probably all the most of the Cambodians, they're probably very fit and trim.
Yes.
And all their customers are big and fat.
I'm sure they find that quite amusing.
Yes.
So donut shops were like Cambodians' link to being able to make it in America. There's one beautiful story with a couple, Stella and John Chan. They're in Southern California. They had the shop since 1979, and Stella became ill. And so the locals would go and buy the whole shop out by 11 in the morning around about, so he could have the day with his wife.
See,
that's beautiful.
Like commitment, yeah.
Yes, and so there's newer shops around that sort of are embracing Mexican roots. So they're doing like dulce de leche and different comfort foods and churros. The Cambodian, I think Ted Ngoy, I think it was him, but he invented the pink box. So the pink box, that's the donut box, because he went to get Lucky Red, the red color box, and they're very expensive, but they had this big run on pink cardboard that was cheap. So he goes, I'll just do the pink. Close enough. And then that became the symbol of the donut.
The brother of invention. Yes. And then we got Randy's Donuts, and everybody's seen Randy's Donuts. Even if you haven't been to California, you've seen Randy's Donuts.
You have. If you've watched any movie or TV show.
The Simpsons
especially.
It's been on. The Simpsons, didn't the one that Como was being chased by the donut, like fell off the arches on
Yes, I think so. One of his moments, but we're going to talk about more specific ones with Randy's later on. Although we
established in 1953. That's been there
forever.
Is,
and they've got great merch. I got on their web. They have one in Korea. They've got a Randy's donut. It's all in Southern California and one in Korea.
Well, I don't know the one in Southern California on Manchester Boulevard or Manchester
Inglewood. They've got one in all sorts of what's like Cucamonga?
Rancho Cucamonga.
Rancho Cucamonga and a few other ones. And I was like, nah. See, Southern California is stupid.
but the other thing is that donut's probably 3 stories high.
Oh yeah, it's
Right.
huge.
And we've gone through how many different earthquakes, and it's still there.
It's still there. And if it rolls down the street, it'll probably still survive. Might take
Yes.
a few out. We managed to get pretty much off the plane and go to Disneyland, but go to Randy's Doughnuts.
Yeah.
And then we had to drop the rental car off to get back on the plane. So this is like an hour before we're leaving. And we're close enough to go to Randy's Doughnuts again.
And in and out, too.
And we did. There are big chains around, like Winchell's we talked about, and a few others. My hometown, which was like country and the little local shops, we had one Winchell's. That was the only chain we had.
Yeah, that's a big chain, too.
It is. And I remember saying to my mom, they had a new donut that had like coffee cake top on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going, please, can we go? Please, please, please. She's like, no, we don't go to Winchell's. We'll go to Reb's Bakery, which, Gina, they made donuts, but their cakes tasted like their donuts as well. So, yeah. And so finally, I think she broke down. It probably was disappointing, but and they also give you 14 donuts in a baker's dozen rather than 13.
Wow. Just to be different.
Just to be different and to be generous.
Now, here's one for you. The cop shops. That was the chief of police.
He was. And I'm sure I've sent a note out to my stepmom, but I don't think she's seen it yet. But my mom says she said my dad said he always paid for the donuts he ate, but she doesn't believe it.
That's like the cops used to come in a bagel bakery,
yes.
right? Because they let everybody like double park outside. So they used to come in, and we used to give them usually 2 bags, one because there's 2 in a car.
Yeah.
So 2 bags of 3 or 4 donuts, bagels in each one. And then if they go, and then we always ask them if they're going back to the station, and we bring back one for the desk sergeant.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So and then that abruptly ended during the Serpico.
Oh, Serpico era.
As soon as that happened, they had their hands in their pocket. Of course, we always let them slide a bit, but you keep in good stead.
That's right. You can't muck around. Yeah. That was a change of things, wasn't it? Now, so the police fondness for this pastry dates back to the 50s. And it talks about often it was because they're open odd hours. They could do their work there. They could drink coffee there. They could hang out. And they could see what was going on the beat rather than being back in the station house. So they, whoever they are, did a survey. So police officers, that's right, Chief Wiggum, they voted on what the favorite donut shops were. Now, they've gone to all chains, and we can guess. So the first one, Winchell's Donut.
Yeah, we just talked about them.
That's right. And they suggested to try the buttermilk bar.
Which will be a cake donut.
Yeah, and it has I think it's made with sour cream as well, like the old-fashioned one, so it has a different taste.
It's just so good.
They are so good. And Shipley's Doughnuts, which is spelled D-O-nuts.
Oh, out of Houston, Texas.
Yes, 1936, and they can be found in many southern states, and the donut to try there is the Shipley Classic Glazed.
And then we got Tim Hortons. That's for the Canadians, eh?
Yeah, that's right. I've never been. You've been. You've had the pleasure.
Yeah. Now but my favorite one. I only went there a few times while we were up in Canada, and I was there in Toronto, and during that's in October or something, because they had the pumpkin donut. So it was like a regular donut, with the hole in it, done like with a pumpkin spice. But in the center had a filling that was like a pumpkin pie filling on the donut.
Oh, let's try that. Because we could just get a plain donut, put our pumpkin spice on it.
Yeah, so it had like a glaze and then that on top of it, like this.
Okay, I'll give them that.
So it's like a pumpkin pie donut.
Oh my gosh.
That was really
Maybe
good.
I should give Canada a shot next time I go and have a visit. And the donut to try there is Timbits, which are the little donut holes.
Oh, okay.
Little variety pack of donut holes. Number 2, Dunkin'.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. And, as we talked to our friend Flavio, made a whole trip to the U.S. for Dunkin' Donuts, which is so sad.
When my cousin was over there, when we lived in Jersey, we had a Dunkin' Donuts that wasn't far from it. And he fell in love with it. So Martin, this is for you.
Yeah.
You remember this, right? So when I was working shift work and I got home and he says, if it's not out of your way, he used to tell me, could you stop over at, he used to call it Dinkum Donuts. Could you start over at Dinkum Donuts and give me a few jelly donuts or whatever he liked, and Yeah, so I did that. So he craved the Dinkin' Donuts. He called them.
Well, what's funny is like it's now, I think like with a newer generation, it's more known now for its coffee.
Coffee, yep.
And it's
America runs on Dunkin'.
That's right. And they're sugary drinks like Starbucks version.
Mm-hmm. And their favorite one is the Oreo cheesecake, which I have never had.
No, but I don't really want that. Now they're actually the largest donut chain with 11,000 stores in 33 countries.
Yeah, I believe, because most of them are like half and half. Half of that, half KFC, or you see them in the shopping malls that just have a little setup in the middle.
Do you think they'll ever get here? Do you think they'll try?
Dinkin'? I don't know.
Dinkin',
they're not here
but
yet.
They do. We're calling it Dinkin'.
Yeah. Well, Krispy Kreme's here, and which is the next one for number 1 rated is Krispy Kreme's, and that's probably because they're probably all over the place too.
Well, and
and hot donuts.
Yes, because they're fresh because there's signs on.
Yeah, the sign is
and
on.
you go straight over, and it started in 1937 in Northern California. So here it is. In 1992, they introduced the hot donuts now light, where customers can get fresh till the fresh donuts are on. So if the light's on, they're just coming out.
And
hot out of the
and over here, when I came here as a kid at the markets, they always had hot jam donuts.
Yes.
And if you still go to the big market, there's a truck that's always out there.
Yes,
and it's called the American Donut Truck.
It is too.
Yes.
And I've had a lovely jam donut from there, and it did take a layer.
That's like the ultimate slider.
That's
God,
right.
You eat that donut, those little donuts, they're really tasty. They're hot, they're tasty, the jam and all that in it. But you eat them all day.
Oh, I know. And you get like the little bit of sugar that stays in the corner of your mouth. Sorry. Evidently, with Krispy Kreme, I was saying California. It's North Carolina.
Yeah.
Right. So now, my dad, I think, I don't know, he would have gone to, we had donut shops in the back of grocery stores as well, too. Like, they'd have little donut sections.
Yeah.
So I think he might have gone to, I'm not sure. There were a few dodgy shops that were probably near the bars that there'd be a donut shop in there and an all-night cafe. And I could see that happening. But he used to make fun of cops and donuts, even though he...
Cops and donuts.
Yes, even though he indulged himself because he was quite svelte. And they used to call him Barney Fife from Andy Griffith, One Bullet Barney. And he was liked being really skinny.
That's like a name of a team, Cops and Donuts, Because that
would be a good team.
Well, I have one of the fellows that play with. We have a few cops that are on our hockey team, ice hockey, and one of them went over for the international games, and so the team from the international games is usually cops and fire department.
Yes,
and then they'll play like the Masters games and stuff.
That's right.
And their hockey team was Guns and Hoses.
I love that. I love that so much. They used to not be able to stand each other, the fire department and the police department. In Dad's day, it was like good.
Well, they would kill each other on the ice too. I could imagine.
Oh yeah.
And the best games at Madison Square Garden was the police department. They had like their tournament and stuff, and it was just all out.
Yeah, that's it. You get everything out on the ice.
Yep.
We had my dad sat me down and made me promise never to marry a fireman. Yeah. But worst came to worst, possibly a police officer, but never a fireman, was to darken his door.
Why? Because not a fireman.
Well, I don't think he liked them that much, but I think because it was competition, like who was doing the most dangerous thing.
Yeah.
But also, you don't want to marry one you might not come home.
Well, if they're working in the Bronx, they got like the most calls out of any service department, out of police, fire, medics. Is the fire department that works out of the Bronx. They'll get 30 or 40 calls a shift.
Jeez. Yeah.
These guys, they can't sleep in their little bunks that they got. And they can't cook.
And it's dangerous because it's like all multi-stories that they're dealing with.
Well, that's not the dangerous part. The dangerous part is who's shooting at them when they get there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yes, words of wisdom from the old man. But here we go with one of our favorites.
What, the Who ripped off this week?
Yeah.
Didn't we do that already?
No,
this is a new part.
This
is the second.
Rip-offs.
Two rip-offs.
So in the 30s, there was a Frenchman named Jean Lebeau. He made his way up from New Orleans to Kentucky. And hard times led him to sell his secret recipe, which was written in longhand on a slip of paper. It involved potatoes, actually.
Yeah.
And the name Krispy Kreme.
Whoa.
He sold it to a local store owner named Ishmael Armstrong, who hired his nephew, Vernon Rudolph, and put him to work selling the treats door to door. So poor John LeBeau probably took his $5 and bought some whiskey, and that was the end of it.
That was the end of it. Yeah.
He was on a train car somewhere going across the U.S.
Ishmael Armstrong. That's a weird name.
It's biblical, Ishmael.
But Armstrong.
Well, I don't know.
It's like, we said this.
It's like Stretch Armstrong.
We used to have this guy in during all the big stereo era out of New York where we had Crazy Eddie.
Yes.
And the other one was Mario Hirsch.
Yes, Mario Hirsch.
Yeah.
That is a convergence of
and
cultures.
the guy goes, Mario, yes, but Hirsch? Yeah. That was part of the advertisement.
Well, Ishmael Armstrong might have had the same thing going on.
Yes.
Yeah, there's all sorts of donuts. As you were talking, that you and Jeanette really like the cake donut.
Yeah.
And the yeast donuts, there's a lot, other than the cinnamon sugar donuts that you get here with the two you get with a cup of coffee.
Right.
A lot of them are yeast donuts here, and they're sort of, I don't like them that much. I like the cakey.
Yeah,
sort of
most of them
donuts.
here, I like the cakey type.
Yeah.
Well, like when we go to the bakery, their cinnamon one is the cakey donut.
Yeah, and that's the best. And there's a cruller, a French cruller, which is sort of twisty looking.
Yeah, and
now,
very, very light.
that was, I think, my grandmother's favorite.
Yeah.
If
Jeanette
I
loves that
remember.
one too. That's her favorite.
It is good because it's like a shoe pastry. Really, it's soft, and then there's bear claws.
The bear claw.
Which is filled with almond paste and sometimes raisins, and they cut them so you see like little bear toes. It's like a little paw,
and it's as big as that too.
It is too. And
that's the other thing that in California, those donuts are big. Like the one I used to get, the chocolate one. So it was the size of the thing you get with the pastry, not the meat pie, but the other thing with the
pasty.
The pasty, there. So it's was the same size as that, maybe a little bit bigger, same shape that this guy used to make it out of. So it was all chocolate.
Oh,
then
and chocolate,
and of course it's fried, and then it's glazed with a chocolate glaze on it, so it's crunchy.
Oh yeah,
it was so good. I don't know. It would have been like eat one of those. That's to feed a family in Cambodia for 22 years or something. But it was so good. You just had to have it.
I get that. Brendan got a donut literally the size of his head at Randy's Donuts. We've got a picture of him holding it up.
Yeah.
And they're huge. But that's your breakfast and your lunch.
Yeah.
Morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea.
Yeah.
And there's a great donut in Hawaii, which when I went to visit Zena, she sent poor Rory out. She goes, you got to get in line and get the malasadas for Barbara. Go.
Oh.
Kicked him out of the house at some ungodly hour. It came back with a paper bag with some grease marks on it, so you knew it was going to be good.
Yep.
And they're sort of like a beignet. It's a Portuguese donut, and a bit of Maui history is Portuguese farm workers came over. And there's a huge Portuguese population. So the sugarcane workers were Portuguese, and there's you see a lot of food, but the malasadas.
Yeah.
Oh, magic. And the Portuguese were mostly Catholics, speaking of the good old Catholics, and they used to make large batches of desserts on Fat Tuesday to use up their supplies of sugar, butter, and lard, and malasadas would come out of that. Much like beignets.
Beignet. Have we been to the Café du Monde?
No, but I know you've been to the Café du Monde. So tell us about it.
Well, in one way it was really good. In other ways, a bit disappointing, because it's a big production type thing and you're eating outside, and most of the people there had attitudes that were serving you and you weren't even in New York.
Is that the French influence?
No, they were, I think they were Korean.
Right. So just cranky.
Just cranky, like the owner. And, for a place that's a tourist thing, cash only. So I'm surprised the IRS didn't get onto them. But now what do they do now? Nobody carries cash.
Yeah, that's exactly right. People had to change. Or all of a sudden, some shops, the machines are, my machine's broken. I'm like, well, sorry. But I saw in Chef, made me think of beignets, and I would like to see Café du Monde just because I want to see that. I just want to see it.
And it is, you got to go there. You have to have it. You have to experience it. But you got to put up with their attitude.
Yeah, well, it's been open since 1862. They might be tired.
Well, there's been a lot of changeover on ownership. I'm sure of that.
Yes, yes. But Chef, so in the movie Chef, the main actor takes his little boy to New Orleans, and he goes, okay, and they're at Cafe du Monde, and he goes, I want you to eat this beignet because no other beignet will taste like the one that you eat right here, where the,
and the coffee's made with coffee and chicory,
which is beautiful. And we used to carry their coffee.
Yeah, you can't get their coffee anymore. Yep. Okay. But we do bring the French market coffee in, which is
great.
The same thing.
And actually, I've seen that in a few movies in the backgrounds. I'm like, we've got that at work. So the French settlers they come from Canada, and they came down to a region called Arcadia, which in the 17th century, and the Arcadians became the Cajuns. So that's the little bit of French that goes with the beignets. Now,
so now we go on to TV shows, movies, and books.
And they're everywhere because Doughnuts, Kat, who works with us, she's made a new apron, and it's a donut print.
Oh.
And it's gorgeous. And you can get donut shirts and bags. You can get on Randy's Doughnuts website and get merchandise. Hint
Might
for
as
Christmas.
Well.
So I love it because Doughnuts, there's a book about donuts.
Yeah.
An anthropologist, Paul Mullins, wrote it. It's called Glazed America, The History of the Donut. You can't beat that.
Sounds luscious.
Well, yes. It goes back for what we've talked about. So we've done our job well. Yeah. Dutch immigrants and the Olykoeks. But he has said, as we've changed our eating habits and gone more healthy, and, so kale chips have taken over some areas, and veganism and all that, donuts loom, is a quote, as one more horrid substance we shovel into our collective mouths. Symbols of Americans' ever-increasing laziness and obesity, Mullins says. But for many of us, donuts are a very special treat that has a very special status, and we're not going to give it up.
Yeah, but you have to put that dig in there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Or it's going to be one of the last treats we do give up.
Yeah.
Now, donuts aren't lazy. That's not lazy.
No, you got to go to the shop and get them.
That's exactly right. And if you walk, you're exercising.
Yes.
And if you walk from your car to the shop and then back to your car.
And then you're probably going to work.
That's exactly right. And then you're
or to the gym.
You're doing your hard-earned for the country.
All right.
And we've got films. There are so many films. You just can't even think. Like, there's back to 1934, Clark Gable, and it happened one night, is teaching.
What happened?
Claudette, well, there's probably a few things where they used to put sheets up between people and all those sort of things. But he was teaching Claudette Colbert how to dunk a donut. He's like, how to show him how to do it?
I could imagine. That was like one of the little symbols that they used for other things. He was dunking the donut. Yeah, okay.
That's right.
Is that a cruller or a donut?
You're shocking.
And then we had the Simpsons Requests. Plenty of with Chief Wiggum's and
Homer living on a donut, and there's like a whole bunch of merchandise. Yeah. Actually, it's not Pulp Fiction. It is at our house. Ainsley, who's our youngest, finished her big Year 12 exams, and to celebrate it, she had some friends coming over. So we went down to the store and we bought floating donuts, like rafts for the. So we filled the whole pool with donuts. So we've had donuts in our backyard forever now. And Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Do you love that movie?
Wayne's World.
Do you love the movie?
Yes.
Well.
And they went to Stan Mikita's Donuts.
That's exactly right. That's where all the good scenes were at. Where Garth's going, Foxy.
Yeah. I could just see him using the donut as a hockey puck too.
Well, that's right. And he was stabbing the donut.
Yeah.
He's stabbing the jelly donut, so jelly came out.
I won't tell you how we used to pick up the bagels when they fell on the floor. The back of the broomstick.
Oh my God.
So why bend down? You just,
Were those the ones that you save for special people? Yes. Yes.
Are they hot? No, that's a refrigerator lady. What do you think it is?
You are shocking.
It's the truth. That's what we were going through all night long.
Well, we've had, the movie, there's a movie 2012 about the end of the world. John Cusack was in it. Mm-hmm. And you see Randy's donut rolling down the highway. It was also in Mars Attacks. Huh? It was in Iron Man 2. Now, do you like the Marvel movies?
No, I can't say that I've witnessed any.
I
know Iron Man from Ozzy Osbourne.
No. Right, so Iron Man stuff. Would you like a bat with that? So there's a great scene where Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., he has his helmet off, so he's sitting in Randy's the big donut, just there, and he's just eating a donut, shaking off the powder, and he's hungover. And Nick Fury, who's the boss, goes, "I will have to ask you to exit the donut."
Would you ever think that the original owner of Randy's Donut, and when he put that big donut up, that would become such an icon in so many different things?
It's so awesome. Like I was
couldn't
like,
pay for that publicity.
No, and I was like a little kid when I saw that. It was great. There was a whole bunch of classic cars and lowriders hanging out in the parking lot when we got there. And that is probably, I think, any TV show, any cop movie, any cop show, you'll see.
Randy's Donuts.
You'll see the donuts.
Okay, that takes us to the end of this bit, and we'll be right back with Nat Nosh. Okay, we're back.
Thank goodness. It was a long break.
And we didn't have no donuts.
I know. And evidently it's my fault.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Well, I did have my 2 donuts today. I had those 2 mini donuts.
Well, did you bring any for us then?
No,
maybe
because
it's all your
Sean
fault.
and I ate there's only 6 in a pack. And
2 for Sean, 2 for you, and 2 for...
later.
Right. That's how it works. Like, we all have a few little things. You feel like, half a thing of donuts. You feel like the other Twinkie in the pack.
Okay, so let's get on to the diary notes. Just make it quick, because if they want to listen to this, they could just go back to the beginning of the broadcast, because why should we repeat it again?
That's exactly right. So let's see how fast we can do it.
Okay, don't forget, June 26th is going to be July 4th.
That's right. We're going to be in the shop.
Yep, live and in person.
That's right. And it's going to be pretty, and there's going to be munchies, and it's all fun.
Okay, and then don't forget the discount code for the month of June is Swoon.
Swoon like June and Moon.
Okay,
and
good.
Put that in the checkout when you check out in the discount box.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So to get your discount.
Right, and don't forget that it only works online or click and collect. So
That's
you can't
correct.
use it in the store. Don't get off on the people in the store because they don't work there.
But you can use a 5% discount on a bag. So there you go. We offer something for you guys.
Right. So now, who called us this week?
Well, with Leslie enjoyed the Fusion show. She did. She liked that. But she likes some weird food anyway. So that makes sense.
And we came up with some new fusion.
Yeah. Hardee's and Carl's Jr. are selling a chicken and waffle sandwich. So it's chicken.
Did somebody give that to the calls over here to do this?
And it has maple butter on top of it. I think we need that. That is one of the best fusions that ever happened.
Yeah. Well, you created me to have a new fusion this week.
What did you do?
Well, remember I told you I made pot roast?
That's right.
And we're on to our 3rd serve of it. And then you said to me, like, well, why don't you make burritos out of the pot roast?
It's a good California girl. Make everything into a burrito.
I went home, I sliced it up, I did it on the grill to make the meat nice and a bit like crispy on the outside. After I sliced it up, so I did that. And then left over from the night before, I bought this stuff at this Indian store, and I thought it was like spinach, but it actually mustard greens done in like a cream spinach type thing. Yeah. And I had that with some wild rice and brown rice, like mixed together in one of those little Uncle Ben packs.
Yes.
So I put those together. So I had that left over, had the other thing, and I bought the wraps. So I cooked up the meat, and then I got all the little crunchy parts there. I put heated up the other stuff in the microwave. So I put the mixture of that Indian and stuff on there with the meat into the burrito and some sour cream on it, which there's a fusion.
It is fantastic. It's always my favorite thing when the second day of pot roast becomes burritos. Yes. So that is, and we've got, look what I have in front of me.
Oh, peanut butter porter.
It's peanut butter beer by a local.
Well, porter is beer.
Yes, by a local Bad Shepherd brewery in town. Now, I love this because we went out and bought a few different flavors of things the other week.
Yeah, that's right. There was another company that was doing that you were going to go get.
Yeah, and I got a s'mores beer, and that is Wolf in the Willows, or Wolf down the street as well. And the Four Pines Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough one we were searching for, but it's not out yet.
Oh,
so it's coming.
It's like a preview.
So there's some good fusions there as well.
Okay. So any communications?
Well, just that I said
Yeah.
that we haven't heard from Liz this week, so
Ah.
hopefully we will hear from
Come
her.
on, Liz. Let's go there. Let's go.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
And don't forget, keep those cards and letters coming in so we have something to talk about.
That's right.
And we're also going to be talking about, like, if you're going to want to get into the next thing. So,
Well, we were talking about doing copycat. So what's
Yes.
a good copycat recipe? Because some of us moved here before the internet was a thing.
Yep.
Right. And we had to come up with our own stuff. Or we couldn't come up with our own stuff. We've gone back home and got a recipe book that has a copycat recipe. So what have you done, like, like an Orange Julius?
And copycats that actually worked and taste like the real thing.
Yeah.
Because I've been trying to find a copycat of El Pollo Loco.
Yeah.
And all the
that's
ones
right.
I find are
Not
no.
right. Not right?
Not right.
I get that. I miss some, like certain pasta dishes, like from Macaroni Grill, some of their things. But if you have an Orange Julius sort of one, I'd love to hear that because I miss that terribly.
Well, I don't think you don't remember because you didn't come from New York. We used to have Orange Julius down in the subways.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
So the orange room, we used to call it.
I used to get sad because I like the strawberry one and I would like the orange one the best. So occasionally I get the strawberry one and I like it, but it's like, I've wasted it. I really should have gone for the original.
But I'll tell you one thing,
Yes?
but to eat food down in the subway system in New York, especially in summertime, it's not the
Ooh.
most pleasant thing to do.
No, I don't.
Strange odors come up from elsewhere.
That would just change the
Yes.
whole flavor palette of everything. And if you want to remember, last week we were talking about the In-N-Out copycat
Yes.
as well. So we gave the order of how you have to put
Right.
anything because it's all in the crunch. So we would love to hear those. So you can send those into podcast@usafoods.com.au.
Yep. So get us those. And we'll move on to Nat Nosh.
Yum.
So it's Wednesday, June the 2nd, is National Rocky Road Ice Cream Day.
Beautiful.
Woohoo!
Love it. They can't have enough marshmallows and mom can get someone fired again.
Yes. And those marshmallows taste so much different when they get a little frozen.
Yeah, I know. They're good. You just like kind of
Mm.
chewy and
Yes.
yum.
Oh, and then on June the 3rd is National Egg Day.
Mm.
Eh,
Yeah, that was,
eh.
yeah.
Brought to you by the Egg Farmers of
That's
America.
exactly right.
Yes.
Could it be like Flan Day or something?
And June 4th, they got 4 different things on it.
Well, it's busy.
Yeah, so you got Donut Day,
Yes, perfect.
Cheese Day, so cheese on donuts,
I don't know.
and National Frozen Yogurt
you
Day.
didn't do that, George Carlin's yogurt.
The yogurt, and Cognac Day. I always
Oh.
have something to top it off with.
That doesn't sort of go with any of those things.
No, cognac goes with frozen yogurt.
Does it?
Why not?
Okay.
You have frozen yogurt and have the cognac on the side.
Or if cognac would go with if you have like cheese and crackers, like
Oh,
really,
yeah.
So that's all. All right.
Yeah.
And Saturday, June 5th, is National Gingerbread Day.
How did that get in there?
I know, because it's a
like-
winter thing.
Exactly.
Who's baking in
Well,
June?
Well, maybe here,
Well, okay, so we got one for us.
And then also National Veggie Burger Day. So is
Aw.
veggie burger really a burger? It's like, is almond milk really a milk?
It's an MYLK.
Yeah.
It's a burger-shaped thing.
Mm,
I don't know. And
okay.
what, in June 6th, National Applesauce Cake Day. Does applesauce cake need a day? Who's the person behind this?
No, I don't know. Again, that's a more of a November thing.
I agree.
Yeah. And June 7th, now this makes more sense, National Chocolate Ice Cream Day.
Oh, yum. Chocolate ice cream with marshmallow.
Well, then you get back to
Topping.
Rocky Road.
Yeah, no, I can't help
Or actually chocolate and caramel.
Yes.
Caramel or however
caramel.
people-
Just look.
yeah, or
it's a-
butterscotch.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, mix the two together and you get a turtle.
Oh, okay. We're
Yep.
now getting chocolate ice cream when we finish up
Okay.
today.
And then they finish it off with June 8th, National Jelly Donut Day.
That's right. And it's not right unless you miss a layer of skin.
So next week, our show is going to be jerky and cowboy food.
That's right. You're going to sing a
So
cowboy song?
Jerky cowboys.
Oh, Midnight Cowboy. I'm walking here.
I'm walking here. Now I got nothing to say for next week.
I know you can say it. I think that's a whole entirely different sort of cowboy.
Okay,
actually.
so we're going to sign off this segment of our show, or this show,
yes.
with Best Donuts quotes.
Beautiful.
Ah.
Okay. You go first.
You can't buy happiness, but you can buy a donut. And that's the kind of the same thing.
Lovely. And donuts. an excuse to eat cake for breakfast.
And of course, Homer. Doughnuts. Whatever. I don't do that well. Anyway, so that's the end of this show. And we'll see you all next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Love my donuts.